The silent ambassador. The Grand Council chamber stretched wide like a silver ocean, its curved walls holding representatives from 57 different species. At the center podium stood Ambassador Luna of the Vexen Empire, her blue skin shimmering under the artificial lights. Her four eyes blazed with conviction as she delivered what everyone expected would be another perfect speech against humanity. For too long, we have ignored the danger these humans represent, Luna said, her voice carrying across the chamber. They are violent, unpredictable, and have no place in our peaceful federation. Their ships carry weapons that could crack moons. Their soldiers train from childhood for war. They are a threat to everything we have built over 10,000 years. The council members nodded along. They had heard this speech many times before. Luna was famous for her words against Earth. For 3 years she had spoken every week, warning about the human menace. Her speeches were broadcast across 12 star systems. Billions of beings knew her face and her message. But then something changed. Luna's neural implant buzzed with an emergency signal. Her four eyes went wide. The words died in her throat. Behind her, the massive view screen flickered to life, showing a ship emerging from hyperspace. It was dark gray, scarred from countless battles with weapons pods that looked like angry thorns. Everyone in the chamber recognized it immediately. A human warship. The USS Hammer had just entered orbit around their capital world. Luna stood frozen. Her mouth opened and closed, but no sound came out. The council members shifted nervously in their seats. They had never seen their greatest speaker become speechless. Council leader Rex, a tall creature with green scales, stood up. "Ambassador Luna? Please continue your speech," but Luna couldn't speak. She stared at the image of the human ship and her mind traveled back 5 years. She had been on a transport ship, evacuating refugees from a dying colony. 30 pirate vessels had attacked them. No one would help. The Vexen fleet was too far away. Other species said it wasn't their problem. Then a single human destroyer had appeared. 1 ship against 30. The humans knew they couldn't win. They knew they would die. But they came anyway. Luna watched that human ship burn. She watched its hull crack and its engines explode. But they kept fighting, kept putting themselves between the pirates and the refugees. The human captain had transmitted one message before his ship died. "Get them to safety. We'll hold them off." Every refugee survived. Every human died. That was when Luna truly understood what humans were. Not monsters. Something far more terrifying. Heroes. She had spoken against them ever since, not from hatred but from fear. If the galaxy knew what humans would sacrifice for strangers, how could any other species live up to that standard? Now the USS Hammer floated above their world and a transmission came through. Captain James appeared on the screen. He was young, maybe 30 Earth years, with kind eyes and scars on his face. "Galactic Council," he said, his voice calm. "We apologize for entering your space without permission. We received a distress signal from the mining colony on Moon 7 in Sector 4. 300 miners are trapped underground. We're here to help." The council chamber erupted in confusion. Representatives shouted over each other. "We sent no distress signal to Earth. This is a violation of our borders. The humans must leave immediately." But Luna knew the truth. She had sent that signal. Her brother Tom was one of those trapped miners. The Vexen government had decided rescue was too expensive, too dangerous. They were going to let them die. So Luna had done the only thing she could think of. She sent an anonymous distress call on a frequency she knew humans monitored. Council leader Rex raised his arms for silence. "Captain James, you must leave immediately. This is sovereign space. We do not require human assistance." Captain James shook his head slightly. "With respect, sir, there are 300 people dying down there. We picked up their emergency beacon. They have maybe 6 hours of air left." "That is not your concern," Rex said coldly. "People in danger are always our concern," James replied. Admiral Kren of the Vexen fleet appeared on another screen. "Human vessel, you have 2 minutes to leave or we will open fire." Captain James looked directly at the camera. His next words were soft but clear. "We're launching rescue shuttles now." The Confession 12 Vexen warships materialized from hyperspace, surrounding the lone human vessel. Each one was twice the size of the USS Hammer, their weapons powered and aimed. The human ship looked small and alone against the stars, but the rescue shuttles launched anyway. 6 small craft departed from the USS Hammer's belly, racing toward the moon below. They had no weapons, no shields, just mining equipment and medical supplies. Admiral Kren's voice boomed through the chamber. Human vessel, recall your shuttles immediately or they will be destroyed. Captain James didn't even blink. Negative, Admiral. Those people need help. You're outnumbered 12-1, Kren said. You cannot win this fight. We're not here to fight, James replied. We're here to save lives. Luna watched the tactical display. The shuttles were halfway to the moon. In minutes, they would reach the trapped miners. But the Vexen weapons were already tracking them. One word from Kren and they would all die. She couldn't stay silent anymore. Stop, Luna's voice exploded across the chamber. Everyone turned to stare at her. She had been silent for 10 minutes, the longest anyone had ever seen her without words. Ambassador Luna, Rex said carefully. Please explain yourself. Luna's 4 eyes closed. When she opened them, tears were flowing. I sent the distress signal. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Representatives of a dozen species started talking at once. Rex raised his hand for silence. You contacted the humans? Rex's voice was dangerous. That's treason. My brother is down there, Luna said, her voice breaking. Tom is one of the trapped miners. Our government decided saving them was too expensive. They calculated it would cost less to pay death benefits to their families than to mount a rescue. I begged, I pleaded. No one would help. She looked around the chamber at all the faces judging her. So yes, I sent a signal to the humans. Because I knew they would come. They always come. This was a trap? Captain James asked from the screen. Luna shook her head. No, Captain. A desperate plea from someone who had nowhere else to turn. I knew you would detect our fleet. I knew you would see the danger. But I also knew you would come anyway. Because that's what humans do. James was quiet for a moment. Then he said, You're right. We detected your fleet before we jumped. We knew this might be a trap. We came anyway. Why? Rex demanded. Why would you knowingly fly into danger? Captain James smiled sadly. Because 300 people are dying. Because someone asked for help. Because that's what makes us human. Admiral Kren's voice cut through. Enough of this. Shuttles will be destroyed in 30 seconds unless recalled. Luna turned to the council. Please, I'm begging you. Let them save those miners. Let them save my brother. You have manipulated us all, Rex said coldly. You spent 3 years speaking against humans while secretly admiring them? No, Luna said. I spent 3 years speaking against them because I feared them. Not because they're monsters, but because they're mirrors. They show us what we should be and we hate them for it. She touched her neural implant and suddenly, the main screen filled with classified files. Hundreds of them streaming past too fast to read individually, but the headlines were clear. Human rescue missions, human medical ships treating enemy wounded, human colonies sharing food during famines with species that had attacked them weeks before. Every week for 3 years I collected these stories, Luna said. For every speech I gave against them, I found 10 examples of their kindness. Do you know what terrifies me most about humans? It's not their weapons or their soldiers. It's their compassion. They make the rest of us look like selfish children. The shuttles were 20 seconds from the moon. Admiral Kren's weapons were locked on. Fire on those shuttles, Kren commanded his fleet. But nothing happened. One by one, Vexen ship captains began reporting in. Weapons offline, Admiral. Technical difficulties due system malfunction, sir. Unable to acquire target lock. Kren's face turned purple with rage. His crews were refusing to fire. They were disobeying direct orders. Then a new voice crackled through the communications system. Weak, fading, but unmistakable. This is Tom from Mining Station 7. We're down here in the dark. Air's almost gone. 300 of us. Families waiting above. We sent distress signals to everyone. Only the humans answered. Only they came. Please. Please let them help us. The choice, the council chamber fell silent. 300 souls waited in the darkness below, their air running out with each passing second. Above them, human rescue shuttles raced against time, and between them stood the pride of an empire that had chosen economics over ethics. Admiral Kren's face twisted with fury on the view screen. This is mutiny. I'll have every captain court-martialed. But more voices began coming through the communication system. Not from the fleet, but from the Vexen ship's crews. My daughter was on the refugee transport 5 years ago. The humans saved her. My colony was hit by plague. Human medical ships came without being asked. They protected our trade route from pirates and never asked for payment. Story after story poured out. Each Vexen crew member had kept these secrets, afraid to speak the truth about humanity. But now, with lives hanging in the balance, the dam had broken. Captain James spoke softly. "Admiral Kren, our shuttles will reach the mine in 3 minutes. We're not asking for permission anymore. We're telling you, we're saving those people. You dare threaten the Vexen Empire?" Kren snarled. "No threats," James replied. "Just facts. We're going to save those miners. You can try to stop us. You might even succeed. But know this. Every human ship within 50 light years is already heading here. Not to fight, to help. Because that's what we do." Luna watched Admiral Kren's face change. Fear crept into his 6 eyes. Everyone knew about human persistence. They never gave up. Never stopped coming. If one ship fell, 10 more would take its place. Not for conquest, but for rescue. Then Kren did something unexpected. He targeted his weapons on the USS Hammer itself, not the shuttles. "Then you die first, human." The blast was immediate and devastating. The Vexen flagship's main cannon fired, striking the USS Hammer directly in its center mass. The human ship's shields flared and died. Hull plates tore away like paper. The ship listed to one side, venting atmosphere and fire. The council chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives screamed and shouted. Some called for Kren's arrest. Others demanded the humans' retreat. But on the view screen, something incredible happened. The USS Hammer, broken and burning, didn't return fire. Instead, every last bit of power went to one system: communications. Captain James, blood running down his face, spoke clearly. "All shuttles continue mission. Save those miners. That's an order." The ship fired its emergency thrusters, moving itself between the shuttles and Kren's flagship. "A shield made of metal and sacrifice. Are you insane?" Kren shouted. "You're dying for nothing." "Wrong," James said, gripping his command chair as another blast shook his ship. "We're living for something. There's a difference." Luna couldn't watch anymore. She ran from the podium to the emergency communication panel. Her security code still worked. With a few quick commands, she took control of one of the smaller Vexen vessels in orbit. "This is Ambassador Luna. I'm taking the Swift Wind to assist in rescue operations. Any crew who objects can use the escape pods." No one left. More ships began breaking from formation. One by one, Vexen vessels turned their backs on their admiral and moved to help the human shuttles. Some provided cover, others used their tractor beams to speed the shuttles along. The first shuttle reached the mine, then the second, the third. All 6 made it, diving into the moon's thin atmosphere as the USS Hammer continued to burn above them. Council Leader Rex stood slowly. His voice carried the weight of authority built over centuries. "Admiral Kren, you are relieved of command. You fired on a rescue vessel. You violated everything the Galactic Council represents. They're just humans," Kren protested. "No," Rex said quietly. "They're better than us. And Ambassador Luna was right to fear them. They show us how small we truly are." On the screen, escape pods were launching from the USS Hammer. The ship was dying, but Captain James remained on the bridge coordinating the rescue. "Captain," Luna transmitted directly to him. "Abandoned ship. We'll take over from here." "Negative, Ambassador. Not until every miner is safe. You'll die. Maybe, but they'll live." The rescue shuttles worked with desperate efficiency. Drilling equipment cut through collapsed stone. Medical teams stabilized the injured. One by one, miners were pulled from the darkness into the light. Tom's voice came through, stronger now with fresh oxygen. 280 rescued. 20 more to go. The USS Hammer's hull cracked. Its reactor began to overload. "Captain James," Luna pleaded, "please evacuate." 18 more miners, Ambassador. Your ship is breaking apart. 16 more. The council chamber watched in horrible fascination. The human ship was dying in real time, held together by nothing but will and emergency force fields. But James never moved from his position. 10 more. 5. 3. Last one coming up now. The final miner was pulled free. 300 souls saved. "Mission complete," Captain James said with a smile. "All shuttles returned to any ship that will have you." Only then did he give the evacuation order. The remaining human crew rushed to escape pods as the USS Hammer finally surrendered to the damage. The ship split in half, its reactor going critical. Luna commanded the Swift Wind to maximum speed. Her crew worked miracles, tractor beams grabbing every human escape pod they could reach. Other Vexen ships did the same, their crews refusing to let their rescuers die. They saved them all. Every human who had risked everything to save strangers. Captain James was the last one brought aboard Luna's ship. He was badly injured, burns covering half his body, but he was alive. The first thing he asked was, "The miners?" "All safe," Luna told him, tears streaming from all four eyes. "Thanks to you." "Thanks to you," he corrected. "You called for help." That took more courage than anything we did. Luna helped him to the medical bay, then returned to the bridge. She opened a channel to the entire Galactic Council. "I have something to say." The chamber fell silent. Luna stood tall, no longer afraid. "I stopped speaking when the human ship arrived because I finally understood. For 3 years I warned you about humans. I told you they were dangerous. I was right. They are dangerous. To our complacency, to our selfishness, to every excuse we make for not helping others. They didn't come here to conquer us. They came because someone needed help. They knew it might be a trap. They knew they were outnumbered. They knew they might die. They came anyway. That's what humans do. They show up. When the galaxy is dark, they bring light. When hope is lost, they bring courage. When we fail to be our best selves, they remind us what we could be. I feared them because they made me ashamed. Today they made me proud. Proud to stand with them. Proud to learn from them. Proud to call them friends." She paused, looking at each council member in turn. "I motion for humanity to be granted full membership in the Galactic Council, not because they're perfect, but because they make us want to be better." The vote was unanimous. Later in the medical bay, Luna sat beside Captain James. "Why?" she asked. "Why do humans always come when others call?" James thought for a moment. "Because once we were alone in the dark, we know what it feels like to cry for help and hear only silence. We promised ourselves that if we ever had the power to answer, we would, every time, no matter the cost. Even for those who speak against you, especially for them," James said with a gentle smile. "They usually need help the most." Luna was quiet for a long moment. Then she said, "I think I'll need to write a new speech." "What will you say?" "The truth. That humans aren't the monsters we should fear. They're the heroes we should aspire to become." Outside the window, the debris of the USS Hammer drifted among the stars. But below on the moon, 300 miners breathed freely. And across the galaxy, the story spread. The day a human warship came to save its enemies. The day an ambassador found her voice by losing it. The day the galaxy learned what humanity really meant. Luna never spoke against humans again. Instead, she spoke for them. And every time she told their story, she began the same way. "Let me tell you about the most terrifying species in the galaxy. They're called humans, and they're terrifying because they actually care." The end.